What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Early Edge MMA style. We tell you all the time, follow us on YouTube, turn on those notifications. You just never know when a new show is going to be dropped into your feed. Last week, Bellator and UFC, 7-1. Absolutely killed it. And there is nobody better at breaking it down, at telling you like it is. And we're talking PFL. That's right. The Professional Fighters League is back Friday. ESPN Plus, ESPN2, and your boys. Let's bring them in right now. Ian Parker and myself are the betting gurus for the PFL. So, Ian, we've got to educate a lot of people before we get to your picks for the PFL. And don't worry, folks at home, we're going to have a UFC show for you on Friday. Now, how does the PFL differentiate themselves from a betting perspective than the UFC or from Bellator?
The biggest difference here is within their season, there's points. So each fighter has to really do the best job scoring as many points as possible, really meaning getting finishes here. Because at the end of that season, there's going to be a whole level of seeding, playoffs, and you do not want to be on the outside looking in. From a betting perspective, now as the fights go on, if you have a guy who knows that he's on the outside bubble and needs a finish, either bet something like the under or go with that guy to get the finish or to go with his opponent to win by decision, because in that situation, his opponent also might just have to win and cruise. So there's a lot of different factors here that makes it very interesting, but also it's going to help us with our strategy moving forward.
Yeah, what Ian is talking about, you can't just blindly go to your book tomorrow and just say, I'm going to bet this guy to win by decision. Here's what we're talking about. You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, but then you get 3 bonus points if you have a stoppage in the first round, 2 in the second round, and then 1 in the third. How do you think that's going to change the fighter's mentality and their approach to the fight?
Sense of urgency. They can't just rest here on worrying about staying healthy. They got to go for broke. You know, guys like Anthony Pettis, who's the big name here, even him, he will have a tough test in front of him the entire way. He knows he has to finish. He wants to prove he's number one. Seeding matters, and the only way to be at that top of the mountain is to get the finishes. Can't just sit here and grind it out decisions all day. It's not going to work. Every fight matters.
I absolutely love it. And also, they're the only organization that you can bet futures. And you can bet on who's going to win the championship in that $1 million prize in the 6 different divisions. And we are here for that first time ever. They haven't been around in 15 months. They're back, and so are we. So let's get into your board for Friday night on ESPN Plus and ESPN2. Let's start with Brandon Loughnane. What do you like in his matchup with Shimon Moraes?
Well, look, Moraes is a very good striker. We saw him have a little bit of success in the UFC. However, when guys pressure him and as the rounds go on, he tends to fade. Loughnane was a pretty good signing in the offseason for the PFL. His last 2 fights were a little bit of a lackluster performance, but what he said was, all I had to do was win. See, this is where the season comes into play. He literally said, I was not fighting for points. I was fighting for money. In this situation, you have a guy with better footwork, better speed, and better cardio, and will press the action. That's why I like Brandon Loughnane to come in here and make a statement in the first leg of the season.
This is in the featherweight division. Again, there's 5 men's divisions, 1 women's. This will be the final fight of the prelim card, or the card that's on ESPN Plus. All right, Akhman Aliev. I always screw that up, against Mikhail Odesnov. They don't make it easy on us. What do you like in this fight?
I like Aliev here. You know, obviously the last fight he lost to Natan Schultz, which Natan is the repeat champ in that division. But the thing with Aliev, he's got really good striking. He has solid wrestling. In this fight, he should be able to keep it on his feet. I think that number should be a higher spread. So I do like Aliev here. He is a guy that will be looking for the finish and to score points early in this season.
Oh, I like that a lot. Now, on the ESPN2 card, there are 4 fights, and a lot of the numbers, and we try to educate you here all the time on the Early Edge, that anything under minus 200 is a pretty good number for us in MMA. But we've got a lot that are in the 400, 500 range. So we've got to put together a parlay. I want a 4-way parlay that's going to give us plus money. Give me something.
Yeah, let's start off with still on the ESPN Plus card. I like Chris Wade. Now, this is a guy that was in the 155-pound lightweight division for a long time. Was not invited back in that division. In order to come back, he had to drop to 145. He's intense, but people question his finishing ability. He's here to prove otherwise. I think he's the better wrestler, better striker, way better experience, and was successful in the UFC. Just made a good signing by going to the PFL. The money was there for him. I like Chris Wade as the first leg of our parlay. The second one, Lance Palmer. He also is a repeat champion. He'll be fighting Bubba Jenkins. Now, these guys have a rivalry back to wrestling. Wrestling is not MMA. Where Bubba is in his career compared to Palmer, night and day. Palmer will be the better striker. He'll be the faster striker, better wrestler, and he'll probably be able to submit Bubba Jenkins. I'm going to even say close to the second round. All right, in the third leg of the parlay, we've spoke about Nathan Schultz. This is a guy who is getting not a lot of love, who should be getting way more love as he's won the last 2 seasons. But since Anthony Pettis has come in, we're not hearing a whole lot about him. So his odds have actually come down quite a bit just because of that. However, he's fighting a guy in Marcin Held who is known for his leg locks, not known for his striking. And I don't think athletic-wise will be better than Schultz. Schultz will be the better of the two in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Will stay away from the leg locks and will absolutely get the victory there. Moving on to the main event in the last leg. Anthony Showtime Pettis, arguably the new face of the PFL. The biggest signing in MMA free agency in general, will be fighting Clay Collard. Collard was in the UFC for a little bit, went to boxing, came back. Does not have a good ground game. Cardio-wise is just okay. However, he really has nothing to lose here. He's expected to get crushed. I just think Anthony Pettis is going to make a statement. He knows his motivation here is he wants to be a 3 organizational champ, WEC, UFC, and now PFL. He will be the better striker, and he has some missions to go along with it. So I think Anthony Pettis gets this done before the 3 rounds are up.
Oh, I love the fact that Anthony Showtime Pettis, there's also other big names like Carissa Shields will be fighting first time in June, Fabricio Verdum. So we've got some big names that have been in other organizations that will put PFL on the map. But they have to perform, and that's the beauty of the PFL. Okay, we're up against it. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap for PFL on Friday night. Straight bets, Brandon Loughnane, -186. Ahmed Aliyev, -150. Then in Ian's parlay, I love it, Ian's PFL parlay, +147. You put together Wade, Schulte, Palmer, and Pettis. You wrap all 4 of those together, it returns at +147. Reminder, we will have a UFC-only early edge tomorrow for the big Usman and Jorge Masvidal fight on Saturday night. You've got your marching orders. Let's take every single ticket, just like last week, straight to the pay window. For the Duck Army, Ian Parker. For the jeweler who puts it all together, I'm the coach. Turn on those notifications. The only place for your daily, weekly, and MMA early edge. Good luck.